Hello and welcome back to On the Brink. I'm your host, Craig Brinkeroff, and we've got quite the show for you this week. The Westford Youth Basketball Association recently released their playoff brackets, and here today we have the Rec Ball Power Committee to talk about this. We've got senior analyst Tim DeLutri, Ethan Walsh, John Devereaux, Kyle Auger, and Andy Dunn. Gentlemen, let's get right into this. Kyle, most intriguing first-round match?
I think for sure, Thunder Blazers. Thunder have some of the most talented players in the league, Glenn Johnson, John Devereaux, but they might have the worst chemistry in the league. The Blazers are also a very deep team. I think that one could very easily go any way. I'm excited for that one.
That's a good one. I'm also looking forward to the Warriors-Sonics matchup. That's two really good teams. The Sonics might be the favorite to win it all with Nick Mazzoni. The Warriors with Roeder and Ryan Pocock. They have a dynamic duo there that might be able to take down Mazzoni in the first round. Might be a good upset.
Yeah, I'm going with the Nets Jazz, but it's important to keep in mind the Warriors have been beating some good teams lately. They beat the Knicks this week, too, so that'll be an interesting one. But I think the Jazz have just as much potential to lose in the first round as they do to make it to the semifinals.
I got to go with the Knicks-Rockets, the late game on Sunday. Both teams very deep in talent, tied second in the league in the four-way tie. I think that you could see it go either way depending on how defenses play. I think that's going to be key in that game.
I have to agree with Andy on the Warriors-Sonics game because I think there is great potential for an upset there, but it's also one of the two best teams in the league.
And so let's weigh in on the Sonics specifically. They're a heavy favorite. Andy, what do you think about this?
Well, I think they've proven to be the favorite this entire season. They've basically won every game that Nick Mazzoni has shown up to. He's their leader of their team. And they got the Gillette brothers as well and some surrounding talent that can help them out. So I think they're definitely the favorite, but I don't have them winning it all. I have the Jazz winning it all. I think they're a stronger team overall. Coincidentally, they are my team. And I think they'll be able to knock off the Sonics in the semifinal round.
And Timmy, what do you think about that?
As far as the Sonics go, I think Nick Mazzoni is favored. Not necessarily the Sonics. He's really their team. It's a one-man show there, but he's helped them win all year, and that's what gets them places. And last year, a team with a similar core won the championship, so that'll be interesting to watch.
I agree with Timmy. I think they've set the precedent with Nick Mazzoni and Zach Reed and Ishan Janney that if those three are together, they pretty much win the championship. So I think you have to pretty much consider them favorites until someone beats them.
I got to take a different stance. I think that they are a heavy favorite, but I think that they're matching up with the Warriors. They got Ryan Pocock on the Warriors. Big man might be able to shut Mazzoni down with some tight defense, and I think that could be something to look out for.
The Sonics have a pretty rough schedule through the playoffs. They have to face the Warriors, and then if, say, the Jazz do make it past the first two rounds, they do have to face the Jazz, which is another top team.
Hello, my name is Loka Anguli, and I'm here in the Ghostwriter press room. Here are your top stories. The Olympics are closer than you might think. On the Brink's very own Craig Brinkeroff has created a list of surrounding areas near Westford where people can go to participate in some of the more obscure Winter Olympic events. The Alpine ski team went to their state championships on Tuesday, February 25th, and our very own Victoria Walker was able to follow and created a slideshow of the event for you to view on our website. Additionally, we challenge all of the Ghostwriter readers and listeners of this podcast to fill out a bracket of your own and send it over to us for the WYBA Playoff Bracket Challenge. Who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky. That's all for today, folks. And now, back to On the Brink.
And welcome back to On the Brink. We're still in studio with the Rec Ball Committee here, still talking about the playoffs that'll be coming up soon for Rec Ball. Let's get right back into it, gentlemen, and let's talk about possible sleepers, possible underdogs. Ethan, what do you think about that?
I think you have to look at the first game of the playoffs, Thunder Blazers, which I think the Blazers might be an underdog in this league. They started improving with the addition of Jack Underhill a few weeks ago, and they've been winning almost constantly since. I think that's an intriguing matchup, and I think they have a chance to go deep.
I'm going to take the Jazz for this one. I think for most of the year they weren't necessarily considered an underdog. They were in the top 3 to 5 of the rankings pretty often, but they've fallen off a little since the Glenn Johnson trade, which we'll get into a little bit later. But they still boast some all-around skill, and I think they could make a deep run.
I agree with Timmy absolutely. I think the Jazz are the underdogs. Coincidentally, me and Timmy are both on the Jazz, but we are a strong all-around team with Sean Coppinger, Doug Boyle, who is a JV level talent, and I've been impressed by the team. Sam McMillan, everyone on the team's put it in. The Damaris brothers. I think we'll make a run at it.
Yeah, I do agree with Ethan here. I think the winner of the first game of the tournament, Thunder Blazers, is going to be able to make a run. I think the Jazz are good. I just don't consider them that much of an underdog. I think that the Blazers have a ton of talent. I think the Thunder do as well. I mean, the Thunder put up an absurd amount of points almost every night. So I think that game's going to be really interesting, and I think whoever wins that matchup is poised to make a little bit of a run if they can get past the Warriors or the Sonics.
I had to agree with Auger here, with the Thunder being one of the underdogs. We have a great, as is my team, we have a great lineup in depth. The only thing that we should probably be working on is team chemistry and having everyone to show up so we can, play the game fully with more energized.
Okay, let's go back to something Timmy mentioned earlier. This year was unprecedented. There was a rec ball trade. Let's talk about that, Andy.
Yeah. So for the Jazz, after about 4 games into the season, we were 3-1, and we had Glenn Johnson on our team. And WYBA decided to trade Glenn to another team. I believe they traded him to the Thunder, who are also now sort of an upset specialist in this bracket. But that sort of weakened our team. We didn't get anyone in return, so we're playing with 7 kids, 2 of whom are brothers. So if the brothers can't show up, we're down to 5. It's definitely been a struggle for us, I think. We've really had to scrap for some of the wins. We're still a talented team, but the trade definitely hurt us, and it was unprecedented. I don't know if I've ever seen that before in the WYBA.
If I may. I think it's important to remember that the Sonics were 4-0 at this time. Our team, we had a loss, and the Sonics didn't. So it was interesting that we had a player traded. But the ways it's hurt us is really rebounding. Other than that, we don't have much hype besides Doug Boyle. So that's been the area that it's really affected us most.
Well, I'm the one that got Glenn Johnson to the Thunder from your team, and I have to say it has been a great help having that height, because before I was the tallest player at 6 feet, and that's only about almost average height at the league. And with him, we've been winning games and made our team better, both offensively and defensively.
I think it's important to note that definitely the Thunder had a turnaround when it came to having that addition of Glenn Johnson on their team, and I think it didn't necessarily hurt the Jazz as much as they thought it might, because they were still able to scrape out some great wins. But I think it definitely turned the Thunder season around.
Yeah, I just objected the trade overall just because I've never seen it done in the WIBA, and we were hoping to get a player back from it. Leaving us with 7 people is a little short-handed.
I think the part that is so unprecedented is the fact that it was so one-sided. I mean, Glenn Johnson, I think, has been on the All-Star team in the past, and it seems a little unfair that you're sending him for nothing in return. I think the Jazz still have a chance to be good, though. They have one of the best backcourts in the league, and I think they're still very able to make a run.
It'd be interesting to note if Jazz and the Thunder win their games, you could see a semifinal matchup between those two teams, which could be interesting to watch.
Speaking of that, let's go into what I'm seeing from our studio that we are running it short of time. Let's talk about your pick to win, and if that's going to be a likely upset. Ethan?
I got to go with the talent. I got to go with who's been consistent all year, and that's the Sonics. I think led by Nick Mazzoni, they're almost unstoppable. 10-1, and their only loss is when he doesn't show up. So if he shows up, unstoppable.
I'm taking the Jazz. The Jazz lost to the Sonics once and beat them once. One time they won was without Nick Mazzoni, but when they lost, it was in double overtime. Very close game. I think a lot's changed since then, and I think the Jazz are poised to make an upset.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jazz as well. Great team chemistry, great all around. I think that's what you need in the playoffs. If you're too reliant on one player, they don't show up, you're sort of done. That being said, in the finals, I have the Jazz playing the Rockets. I think the Rockets are also a really strong team led by Josh Sawyer, who is a varsity-level talent. Sort of incredible that he's in the rec ball league this year.
Yeah, I got to go with the Sonics. I think, like I said, they've set the precedent that they're pretty much going to be the best team, and I think it's going to take someone to dethrone them, and I have them playing the Heat. Combination of Jake Schladenhoff and Nick Mariano is hard to defend, but watch out for the Timberwolves. Don't sleep on them.
I have the Supersonics winning against the Heat. The Heat have been struggling over the years. I will give them that, but they do prove to have great talent when they show up. But Supersonics are definitely going all the way.
Okay, well, it seems like we're in two separate camps, but that's about as much time as we have for today. Thank you for tuning in to On the Brink. We're here with the Rec Ball Committee talking about Rec Ball playoff bracket. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for having us.